It's one thing to think that, it's another to go out and execute the way you did. What went into the success in that area today?
Well, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's all about practice. You know, when you go out there and execute and practice like we did this week, it gives you the confidence to be able to make some of those plays. And I thought it was our most crisp week of preparation on the field. I think off the field we've been really good, but I thought the energy was good. Not a big believer in coincidences, so I got to think that just Marquez and Adam out there, you know, made a difference from a professionalism standpoint. Not saying those other guys don't have professionalism. I love Gal and Roman and all of our other guys, but I just think there was an extra level of focus this week. And, you know, then Art wanted to be aggressive on the first play. You know, as you guys were talking about, we hadn't completed a pass, you know, over 20 yards in a while. And took a shot. DK got it, and then he was kind of on one. But he was on one in practice on Thursday. And then he was on one on practice on Friday. So love that from our guy. I think he even ran down on a punt. So proud of DK, proud of our defense standing up there at the end, and thought the offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage. From a pass game standpoint, we didn't run it very well. But when we had to have some conversions on third down, you know, we made some plays.
Aaron, what does it do for confidence when you hit that first big one?
We did it against Cincinnati as well on the first third down. It wasn't the first play of the game, but I just like Art's kind of focus. He wanted to be aggressive throwing the ball. You know, and I knew it was going to be a lot of different guys. But once DK got going, I just kind of had to keep feeding him, and he had a couple huge plays. Then the Lions, you know, in the second half, we've kind of sucked the first possession of the second half coming out, and, you know, to start off with a extended pass play, and then DK to keep working and keep working and keep working, and that big play, get us down there, get a field goal, and go down and score a touchdown. That was two good drives for us to start the half.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about the second half because you've had some lulls after halftime with leads. If you came out and were aggressive and hit those big passes, how important that was, you know, for your confidence to get that.
Yeah, it's important. You know, we've talked about how many 3-and-outs that we've had starting the second half, and when you're trying to, you know, defer, that first possession of the second half is very important, especially if they went down and got 6 there at the end of the first half, you know, to be able to put it back to 2 scores. Now they went right back down and scored, but then the most important drive of the game was that response that we had to get it back to 27-16, which was a lot of different guys. I believe it was that drive where we had a 2nd and 20, I think. Hit DK and then had a conversion. Then they tried to pressure us and dropped 2 guys, really. Pat was wide open. I didn't see him. I just saw Jalen in the flat. And because Pat was so wide open, he was the convoy there to get in the end zone. So proud of our guys.
Are you still feeling these? Are you still feeling this? I don't want to use the word nimble here, but you moved around pretty well in this game. There have been other times this season. Do you still feel like that's something that you lead off when you can pull it off?
Yeah, I mean, some games you feel better than others. I was just telling the linemen, you'll understand this when you're 40. You know, some days you feel better than others. Wake up and there's no specific reason why, you know. Thinking like, what did I do last night? Did I sleep wrong or whatever? But some days you feel great. Other days you feel maybe just good. Today I felt great, maybe because it got such a beautiful grass field. But I felt good moving around there. And then to be able to run in a touchdown, it's been a long time there. That was in no way the play at all. It was the play to Jonnu, and the whole left side just caved in. I started running and realized I had 2 larger humans chasing me that I maybe was equal to or slightly faster than. So that was nice to get in the end zone.
You talked about the reception.
You talked about during the week.
You're next.
Not being sure if you'd be able to go under center today, and we did. How did it feel going under center, and how did that kind of open up more of the offense that was maybe missing last week?
Yeah, I don't know how much it opened up the offense, but it was important. Only, Brooke, because I don't feel like our action passing game was exceptional today. Our keepers were okay. But just the threat of being under center, I think, was nice to not have to, you know, catch a shotgun snap all day and be able to kind of hear a little better at the line of scrimmage some of the calls that were going on. That was a kind of a slightly rogue decision that I made starting Saturday. But Gabe is a great dance partner when it comes to all things medical, because him and I have a real good back and forth about what we should be doing. And today I just went with a soft cast on there as the bones are healing up, and hopefully I can get out of that at some point.
What did you see on the reception? Tell us about that play with your catch.
I was trying to bat it down. I was trying to get my hand on top of it and push it down, and when I did, I felt whoever's big paw was there. So I kind of had a David Tyree for a second, and then it was a kind of a battle for the football. I didn't realize at the time my knees were down. I was just struggling with it, but he was grabbing on my left wrist, which, and then there was some extracurricular at the bottom of the pile, and I was just pissed jogging off the field, so I'm glad that call went our way.
Aaron, no sacks today. How do you feel that your offensive line did today in pass protection?
I thought the pass protection was excellent. AP went down, and I thought Cookie stepped in and played really well. Obviously we gave him a little help on the first couple of them, but proud of him for stepping in. But the line, really gave me a lot of time today. There were some extensions. I kind of got out of a couple potential sacks, but for the most part, it was a super clean day. And to still be recovering from my injury and to not really get hit a whole lot. I don't know if I was on the ground one time without being clumsy and falling down. So that's a good day, good feeling tonight. Appreciate those guys, and I really felt the rivalry today and how much it means to both teams and the fans.
What does it mean to get a win like this after the week that you guys have had and the week that kind of Mike Tomlin has had too?
Means maybe you guys will shut the hell up for a week.
Oh, was your cast different, did you say?
Yeah.
That would make a difference, you thought?
Well, not on the reception, no. I mean, Kabola, you can probably tell me this, but I don't feel like I've had a reception for positive yards in my career. I believe that's 3 catches, maybe. 3 catches? Yeah.
2 from -10.
I wasn't trying to catch the one, I promise. I wasn't trying to catch that one.
Oh, now, right.
But I'm glad it wasn't a pick.
If you were
Two
watching
more
the-
here.
if
2
you
more.
were
We got
watching the-
PQ coming in. 2 more.
If you were watching the replay of their play in the end zone, did you think that was going your way, or were you thinking that we got to go out and put together a drive now?
I was thinking we got to put a drive together, and so is Mason. He keeps talking my ear off about different things that we like and he likes and I like, and so he's sitting next to me. Will's on the other side, and Will and I are kind of like tuned into what's going on in the incompletion, and they move the ball back and they're lined up for the next play. And Mason can't believe it because he's been just talking my head off about these random plays, and I'm like multitasking, finding this out, and so we had a good laugh at Mason's expense for that one.
And the defense. Last one. Defense dealt with a number of injuries. We're on the field for, I think, 21 of the last 24 plays. Just speak of what they gave you today.
Yeah, great effort. I think a lot of guys stepped up with the injuries that we had. Looked like there were 3 or 4 guys that went out. So I'm proud of all those guys, and just the guys that are out there playing, with JP coming up with another huge pick, turnover for us, and Chuck playing a lot of meaningful snaps after not playing a ton of defensive snaps over the last few weeks. Peppers was out there for us. Cole Holcomb was out there for a number of snaps. So proud of those guys. It was an incredible effort down the stretch to hold them on the red zone, and then obviously in the 2-minute come up big with timely highlight play by Alex.
Steelers Nation, this was not just another win. This was a statement. A cold, physical, calculated message delivered right in the heart of Baltimore, in the middle of one of the most brutal rivalries in football. When the Pittsburgh Steelers walked into that stadium, everything about this moment screamed pressure, urgency, and consequences. And what Aaron Rodgers explained after the game tells us exactly why this victory feels different. Rodgers didn't talk about luck. He didn't talk about coincidence. He talked about preparation, about the sharpest week of practice this team has had in a long time, about focus turning into confidence, about confidence turning into aggression. And that aggression showed itself from the very first snap, when Pittsburgh attacked deep and reminded the entire AFC North that this offense still has teeth. For weeks, people questioned whether the Steelers could stretch the field, whether Aaron Rodgers could still command games at this level, whether this offense had reached its ceiling. On Sunday, those doubts got silenced. Rodgers stood tall in the pocket, trusted his protection, trusted his receivers, and most importantly, trusted the work done during the week. That deep ball to DK Metcalf didn't just open the game, it opened the identity of this offense. And it wasn't reckless football, it was controlled aggression. Rodgers made it clear this was about discipline, timing, and execution. The offensive line delivered one of its cleanest performances of the season. No sacks, minimal hits, time to let routes develop, time for confidence to grow. And when the Steelers needed conversions, they found them. When they needed answers, they responded. Defensively, this team bent but did not break. Baltimore was held to field goals. Lamar Jackson was forced to be patient, forced to earn every yard, forced to play the game on Pittsburgh's terms. That's Steelers football. That's winning ugly when needed. That's surviving attrition, injuries, and chaos, and still walking out with the division advantage in hand. Aaron Rodgers said it best without saying it directly. This team knew what was at stake. And veteran leadership matters on days like this. Big stages, hostile crowds, rivalry pressure. These are the moments you bring a quarterback like Rodgers into the building for. Not for pretty box scores, for control, for composure, for moments when everything is on the line. This win doesn't guarantee anything, but it proves something. It proves that the Steelers can match aggression with preparation, that they can win through the air when the run game disappears, that they can respond when punched first, and that the AFC North still runs through Pittsburgh when the Steelers play with this mindset. Now, Steelers Nation, I want to hear from you. Did this win change how you feel about this team? Do you believe this is the turning point of the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe to Steelers Nation Wire, and let's talk about where this team is headed next, because this one felt different.